Speaker Mike Johnson doubled down his claim that there won't be Medicaid cuts in President Trump's big, beautiful bill, despite projections that millions of low-income individuals would lose health insurance as a result of the bill. Johnson, during an appearance on NBC's Meet the Press, pushed back on independent projections that the bill would lead to 4.8 million people losing coverage because of work requirements, saying they won't lose it unless they choose to do so. Those 4.8 million people will not lose their Medicaid unless they choose to do so, he told host Kristen Walker. You're telling me that you're going to require the able-bodied, these young men, for example, to only work or volunteer in their community for 20 hours a week, and that's too cumbersome for them? I'm not buying it. The American people are not buying it. He added that the people who are complaining about losing their coverage are doing so because they can't fulfill the paperwork, noting that the policy follows common sense. When people work, when able-bodied young men work, it's good for them, for their integrity, their purpose, and it's good for the community, he said. If you can't find a job, then volunteer in your community for 20 hours and you will meet the requirement. The proposed Medicaid and healthcare reforms require states to impose work requirements on childless adults aged 19 to 64 to be eligible for Medicaid. It also aims to shorten the open enrollment period from the Affordable Care Act, among other changes. They have a little bit more here, but you get the gist of what he's trying to say. So there are a lot of ideas that by themselves, sound nice on paper, right? Hey, what's the big deal? You just have to work or do community service for 20 hours a week, and then you can get your coverage. What's the problem? Well, sometimes there are people who cannot work a job or do community service for things that are out of their control. You have disabled adults, people with missing limbs, and it just becomes more difficult for them to meet that requirement, that added threshold of requirements for the sake of getting, some money. Although I will say, I have no issue with working 20 hours a week. I'd actually love to work 40 hours a week, but when you're dealing with a rotten society where employers seem to be going out of their way to do anything they can to not pay you, you get your little single-digit number of hours a week, which I'm just saying it's funny because it's like I have no issue working the 20 hours a week to meet the requirement. I'm all for it. But it's, again, I'm saying that as someone who doesn't have the same, these ailments that people who might have qualified before, right, that are childless, now would have to jump through more hoops to try and get the same amount of money as they were previously getting. And I love where he says, these people aren't going to lose their coverage unless they choose to do so. Listen, a lot of times when someone is down economically, there are, again, those nuanced factors. Like, I, for one, do not like being unemployed, right? I don't like, but at the same time, I also don't like working somewhere where they're only going to use you once or twice a week, and like it's not even enough to survive off of anyway. So it just kind of seems like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I don't think this proposal of theirs really acknowledges the subtleties of the people involved with this stuff, and it just seems like it's another set of litmus tests to get out of helping more people. What's the big deal? Person only has one leg, or has some kind of debilitating illness. Why can't you work 20 hours a week? What's the problem? Man, I wish they fought this hard to put requirements on giving aid to these foreign countries. That would be nice, to see these different regions have to like actually jump through hoops to secure however many millions or billions of dollars we give to them. It would be cool if they actually treated foreign governments and entities with the same level of malice that they do their own people. Because that's always been the part I thought was funny. They're like, oh yeah, people on these different social, welfare programs, they're using the system to be wealthy. It's like, whatever amount you're getting is no bigger than what someone who's working would get. So it's pretty silly, man. It's just another example of how they have all of the ability to like foment laws to benefit people, to help people, and all they're interested in doing is just taking stuff away. Chop up this program, slice this, cut that, anything but taxing the rich and not giving money to foreign countries. Those are the only two economic policies they have no time or belief in. But when it comes to taking money out of the pocket of poor people, here they come.